Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we got some information for you. You've been hearing about disease X, and I hope that you will be able to listen this video or watch this video right to the very end because it's important. We've been hearing about disease X, and we've been hearing about it being what you call an ominous placeholder used by the World Health Organization, basically for a hypothetical catastrophic pandemic pathogen. Well, it's more than just a warning because the information that we gathered that behind the scenes, there are whispers from whistleblowers, there are leaked documents that we obtained, and there have been some cryptic declarations suggest that disease X isn't just an eventuality. As a matter of fact, what we found out is part of a carefully orchestrated plan. But for what purpose? And that is the question. Some say to control populations. Others were saying to reset economies. Others are saying to achieve some darker goal. But there are a lot of conspiracies that lurks beneath the surface when it comes to this. But we got some information. We want to share them with you. One of these things is that this is a manufactured pathogen. And there's a theory surrounding that the X is speculated to be no accident of nature. Remember when you mess with nature, what happens? But they're saying that this is no accident of nature based on the information. Instead, it is being whispered to be a designer pathogen. So it's crafted in ultra secure biolabs hidden within research facilities and they're scattered worldwide. We heard recently what became of the COVID and where it came from. And we heard about secret labs in Ukraine and Russia spoke about them. And we heard about the destruction of these labs. A lot of things are happening around us. But what we found is that the pathogen's key trait is the adaptive lethality of it, where it can kill. You heard about this mystery illness in Africa that's just taking out children. Some are saying that's disease X. We still don't know. But the thing is, the pathogen's key trait is its adaptive lethality, where it can kill. So it evolves rapidly. It targets specific demographics. You got that? Immune weaknesses or even genetic markers. The information we found out, we gathered as well, was that this pathogen was designed as a tool for global control. This is a virus capable of a selective, I would say, tunneling under the guise of a natural pandemic because earlier phases of smaller outbreaks, they're saying, might have already be tested and that the governments and pharmaceutical companies monitoring how populations react both biologically and socially to see how far they can go with this. You heard about mpox when it broke out, the new strain of it, and then like it appeared to have gone dead. Now we're hearing about this mystery disease in Africa that's killing children. Still, they don't know what it is. So what we have found out, we're not sure if this is disease that's happening in Africa, but they're playing with a lot of pathogens. And the thing is, it's adaptive lethality. So just bear with us, all right? Now, so there's the manufactured pathogen that we found out. We got some information about a Trojan horse for global governments. We don't know if this is the real thing, but we know people want to control this planet. So the pandemic infrastructure built to combat X. There's mandatory lockdowns. There's the poison passports. I don't want to say the word which is V because you know what they're going to do. There's the biometric tracking. Now, these could be laying the groundwork for a permanent system of what you call global surveillance and control. You've heard about so many countries with all these cameras now. But the X provides the ultimate justification to implement these systems universally. And they're saying what better way to unite humanity under a single authority than the looming threat of extinction. They tried it with the last Plan E-demic. A lot of people rebel. And I believe that if they come again, a lot more people will rebel. But a whistleblower told us that private meetings have been held between world leaders, tech billionaires, pharmaceutical CEOs, and it has revolved around using the specter of X to fast track international treaty that erode national sovereignty. And in the scenario, you're saying that X isn't the end, it's the beginning of a centralized, unelected global cabal of people. So we're getting information, and I tell you, because we are doing these things now, more persons are placing more trust in us and are giving us information. And the information is not dupe information; it actually coming from people who working within the system. We can't call names, of course, but we're giving you the information. There is something that is looking at an economic collapse and a reset. X could trigger a crisis so severe that traditional economic systems collapse. They've been talking about this for a while now, and central banks and multinational corporations might use the chaos to usher in a new era of digital currencies. We've been hearing about all these things. It's going to be completely trackable and programmable. The transition would eliminate cash based economies and it can strip citizens of financial privacy. Now, remember when we heard about Dcash and they were helping us, telling us in the Caribbean, the ECCU, to use Dcash more often, and it kind of fell apart because a lot of persons weren't too much interested. Well, they've come back with Dcash 2.0. And so this is not the only region that has been toying with these digital currencies, right? So if you consider the implications of a pathogen that forces a halt to physical goods production and transportation, and while we were in the last planned epidemic, you see and you saw how much we went online to buy stuff and how credit cards and debit cards became so important. That's part of a digital world, and they were testing a lot of things. So they want to take it to another notch up, right? Entire industries could crumble. Yeah, small businesses definitely would vanish, just like in the last one. And wealth would consolidate into the hands of a few mega corporations. You saw how the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gates, they became doubly rich during the last plan EDM. So this is all part of people getting what they want, becoming more wealthy and having more control. So X serves as what they call the ultimate excuse for a great reset. That's a plan that has been theorized by the World Economic Forum, and that is basically to remake the global economy under the guise of sustainability and equity. But these things are not far fetched, they're actually in play and hoping to happen. And we've all heard about the depopulation agenda. We got some information that perhaps the most chilling theory posit around the X is designed to achieve population reduction. We've been hearing this for a very long time. We saw how many persons died during the last one, and we saw how many persons got damaged and are just awaiting their fate due to the poison that they took. So there's always a game in play to depopulate, right? Now, what the whistleblower told us was that the goal allegedly pursued by certain elites who believe that Earth is overburdened by humanity, basically, they argue that reducing the population levels would alleviate strain on natural resources and slow environmental degradation. The whistleblower is also saying that out of the meeting, they're coming again to say that X symptoms and spread could be tailored for maximum lethality in specific conditions. So we're looking at what? Urban density, large cities where population is growing, lack of access to clean water in places, and you've seen what has been happening, weakened immunity due to prior illnesses, and like the last juice, the poison that a lot of people took, it has weakened their immune system. So anything that they bring now can take them out very quickly. So unlike previous pandemics, this pathogen now could linger with waves recurring every few years to continue to cull the population. So unlike the last one that we had that basically is fading out now and nobody's really going through with it, this one, what they're doing is to manufacture this one in such a way that it can linger with waves of recurring every few years to continually cull the populations of the world. So this is what will be even worse than the last one. The last one was like a test run, right? So I mean, this is sometimes too much, and there's a lot of things that I'm not saying because if we say them, people could actually know where we're getting this from. But the social engineering through fear is big, and X, if it isn't designed to take out people en masse, it could still survive as a tool for social manipulation. You're talking about prolonged infection of fear, which can fracture societies deeper than anything else. There's more distrust among communities that could cause more crime. Populations can become more reliant on government and corporate powers. And you're talking about an unrelenting sense of vulnerability, which allow leaders to mold public behavior even more. We're talking about implementing controversial policies to keep dissent at bay. All right. And I have to warn you while we're talking about keeping dissent at bay. I understand that there's a crime bill that's popping up in Barbados and has some serious implications. We're gonna have to talk about that. But well, a cyber crime bill basically. But disease X is something that we all have to prepare for because we don't know what fashion they'll be bringing it in, and it's a new form of control basically. And one where I believe the end game really is where dissenters, people who speak power to truth and who speak different narratives, are labeled public health risk. It's gonna be worst, stripped of their rights for the greater good, they call it. But be prepared because it's coming again. It's coming again. So there are even some people who are saying that, well, the end game basically, what is the true purpose of the X? What is the end game? And one common thread that we got from the information is that it remains, it's not just about biology, whether it's to consolidate power, to reset economies, or prepare humanity for something even greater. We're getting the information that X is portrayed as a means to an end. And the question isn't if X will emerge, it's how prepared we'll be when it does, and who will ultimately benefit from the chaos. That is something that we have to keep in mind. All right. So, guys, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share this information with your friends. And we definitely got more content coming your way. Leave your comments in the section below. It's necessary that we hear from you.